Reviews are calling Andor Season 2 the best Star Wars show yet, but does it live up to the hype? Let's break down the biggest lore connections and hidden details from episodes 1 through 3.
Mandalore.
So Season 2 of Andor opens up with Cassian on a mission to steal a prototype TIE fighter at Sienar Fleet Systems. Now the company Sienar are the creators and producers of the twin ion engine fighter, better yet known as the TIE fighter. And what's interesting is that typically in canon, Sienar factories are depicted as giant shipyards in orbit around planets. But here we actually see them based on a planet. And the official Star Wars database even confirms that this planet is owned by Sienar, stating multiple state-of-the-art testing facilities occupy several numerically cataloged worlds owned by Sienar Fleet Systems, including the snowy planet designated 73. Because it is home to many Imperial secrets, it has been armed with its own defense battalion, making it near impossible to break into. And I think the inspiration for this planet could be the world Liana, which was the home headquarters of Sienar in Legends. And we even see that the technicians are wearing Sienar's logo from Legends. Now the prototype that Cassian is tasked with stealing is not just any prototype TIE, but the most advanced TIE fighter called the TIE Avenger, which first appeared in the game TIE Fighter. And the TIE Avenger was one of the prototype TIE fighters to Darth Vader's TIE Advance X1. Now what's really interesting is that Cassian later in episode 2 mentions that the TIE Avenger wasn't what he was trained to fly on, and to me this sounds like he unintentionally stole the wrong prototype TIE. In fact, I don't even think the rebellion knew that the TIE Avenger existed. As I mentioned before, there were multiple prototypes to Darth Vader's TIE fighter, and I believe the rebellion's intended target was this other prototype, which we actually see chasing Cassian in the TIE Advance. And this fighter is the TIE Advance V1 prototype, also better known as the Inquisitor TIE Fighter, which we first saw the Grand Inquisitor flying in Season 1 of Star Wars Rebels. So that means that this other variant of the TIE Advance prototype was also being developed at this base. So yeah, Cassian stole the wrong ship. Now during Cassian's escape, we also see a different type of stormtrooper called a range trooper, and these were essentially the heavily armored version of the standard stormtrooper, and they first appeared in Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now overall, the armament for the TIE Avenger is pretty similar to how it was in Legends, but a huge change they seem to have made was eliminating the tractor beam on the bottom and replacing it with a beam weapon, similar to what we see on the B-Wing prototypes, and this might be because the TIE Avenger's tractor beam in Legends was referred to as a beam weapon. Next, we are introduced to a new farming world called Mineral, where Bix, Wilman, Brasso, and B2 Emo are hiding from the Empire after Ferrix. But of course, the Empire does arrive, and we see that the landing craft is a Gazanti-class cruiser. And we also see that the Imperials have a new troop transport. Right now it's just being referred to as a troop transport on the Star Wars database. I don't think it has an official name. Let me know in the comments if you do know the name of this vehicle. Now when Cassian arrives at his rendezvous point after stealing the TIE Avenger, he's ambushed by a rebel cell that mistakes him for an Imperial test pilot. This group is actually the Maya Pei Brigade, a rebel cell that Saw Gerrera calls a neo-republican faction, which means that they are fighting to restore the Republic, which kinda aligns them with monmothma's vision for the rebellion. But here's the problem: Maya Pei has disappeared, and without her leadership, the cell is falling apart. Now what's interesting is that this rebel group has actually been referenced multiple times in Season 1 by Dedra, who had previously mentioned a list of equipment that had passed through Ferrix, including a targeting unit found in one of Maya Pei's safe houses. And the way that Dedra was able to gather this list of stolen equipment was through Bix's interrogation, meaning that the ISB likely tracked down Maya Pei because of Bix's torture. Now the crash ship we actually see on the jungle planet is Cassian's Breon HOY-39, the same vessel he used back on Ferrix. Now to me, episode 2 actually felt the slowest, but Cassian's kidnapping actually serves a bigger purpose in the story. It's really a key moment that demonstrates his character's growth. Throughout his captivity, he's strategizing, staying patient, and using his surroundings to his advantage. He's even telling the other rebels to collect rainwater, recognizing how vital resources are in this survival scenario. This moment proves that Cassian isn't just another rebel soldier, he's a leader. And ironically, if the others had listened to him, they might have found their new leader that they were so desperate for. And the payoff for this entire storyline is so good, because when he escapes, we see two massive temples rising above the treetops. These are the Massassi Temples of Yavin 4. This moment is essentially setting up the jungle world as the main base for the Rebel Alliance. Next, we're introduced to a new Imperial fortress called the Maltheen Divide, which could be Krennic's version of Tarkin's Raven Peak on Iriadu. Here, Krennic is hosting a secret meeting with hand-picked individuals, personally chosen by him. One officer is even wearing the badge of the Imperial Military Department of Advanced Weapon Research, the division Krennic oversaw, and the logo itself looks like the deathstar firing. Now this group is discussing a backup plan for the Emperor's Energy Initiative, since they haven't had any luck searching for a stable and unlimited power source for the Death Star. So if no viable alternative is found, the planet Gorman becomes their fallback option, thanks to its deep crust deposits of rare ore called calcite. Now the problem is, mining calcite would render Gorman uninhabitable, so the Empire needs to manufacture a narrative, one that frames the Gormans as traitors or forces them off-world, giving the Empire justification to remove the population. Now Dedra proposes creating a fake Gorman rebel cell, allowing the Empire to justify a larger presence on the planet and evacuate the locals under the guise of security measures. And this is actually a callback to The Force Unleashed, where Palpatine and Vader used Starkiller to create the Rebel Alliance, giving the Empire an excuse to ramp up military production while identifying key rebel leadership. On Chandrila, monmothma's home planet, it's confirmed that her daughter Lita is marrying Davos' golden son, and in the wedding preparation we meet monmothma's aide Erskine Semai, who is another Star Wars Rebels callback, because he was with the Senator when she fled from the Empire, and we also learn some of his backstory because he's from Naboo. We also get another Rakata reference in the wedding gift from Davo, which was a statue said to be stolen by the Rakata Empire from Chandrila 25,000 years ago. But the real drama centers on Mon Mothma's childhood friend and banker Tay Koma. His investments in the rebellion have cost him everything. His marriage is over, he's drowning in debt, and now Luthen has only one choice to protect Mon. Luthen is worried that if Tay is cornered, he might sell out the entire rebel leadership to the Empire just to escape his financial ruin. So when Tay boards his speeder to leave at the end of episode 3, we see Cinta waiting as his replacement driver. And in Andor, Kaz is basically the Grim Reaper. It's always implied, never directly shown, that she takes care of any loose ends that could compromise Luthen and the rebellion. So Tay isn't walking away, he's most likely dead. Now my thoughts on Andor so far. It's kind of crazy to think that we're already done with a quarter of the season. I definitely liked episode 1 the best. Episode 2 took me a second watch to really appreciate it. And episode 3 I thought was a pretty solid episode altogether. Overall, I think the series is off to a good start. It's pretty action-packed, the pacing is decent, and I always love the deep lore cuts that Andor seems to bring. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to hear more about my thoughts on Star Wars, subscribe.